Hey guys. An update about my podcast episode for next week. So I was recording my podcast episode today, and I think I'm going to probably upload the podcast episode hopefully by sometime Monday. It will be scheduled. The podcast episode will be scheduled on YouTube and Spotify for Tuesday. I want to try to upload podcast episodes every Tuesday, so you guys can listen and watch the podcast episodes, wherever you decide to watch the podcast episodes on, whether that be on YouTube or Spotify. But I will work on editing my podcast episode for next week for this coming up Tuesday, either Friday or maybe Monday. I don't know when yet, but it might most likely be today because I also wanted to let you guys know that I had an interview today. I had a phone job interview today with a place with a job place where I could work with kids who have disabilities, and then I have another coming up job interview on Tuesday. um then that job interview on Tuesday that I have is going to be for a daycare, but it's located at a church. So, um, I might have to start considering like when I record the podcast episodes and when I edit the podcast episodes and when I upload the podcast episodes and schedule the podcast episodes. There's a lot of work when it comes to it. Um, if you are also a podcaster and you also record podcast episodes, you also edit the podcast episodes, upload the podcast episodes, and schedule the podcast episodes like I try to do every week now. Um, and you understand where I'm coming from when it comes to the podcast episodes and the work that has to be done with it. But when it comes to recording the podcast episode, um I'm normally led by God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit when I record the podcast episodes. So, but I wanted to give you an update about my podcast episode, and about some upcoming up things I'm looking forward to. Even though I had a recent breakup with my ex-boyfriend, I still have things to look forward to, and I'm still trusting in God and having a relationship with God. So, have a great day.